All right, what's up, everyone? Jelly here from No Tier Gaming. Today, we're going to be taking a look at my Machina control deck that I took third place in Swiss and 10th place overall in the Pak LCS. This deck is really interesting in terms of that it's a control deck that can just kill you and plays off of only one card for the actual engine, but can still function pretty well playing about 18 traps, almost 20 trap cards in the main deck. And yeah, it's super fun to play. It has good matchups across the board right now and plays really well into the meta, which is why I did so well with it, I think. So let's go through the deck and I'll kind of explain how it works. We play 3 to Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Lord essentially searches as functions as another way to get to engine in this deck, along with also functioning as a way to protect your board and also a way to pressure the board, which the cards are just absolutely insane in a deck like this, where you can search out Machina Deployment. It's another copy of Urgent Schedule. It's another copy of Overdrive. It's another copy of Extravagance or Prosperity, whichever you choose to play. This card is super good. Protection, board protection, and along with consistency is super huge. All in one card. This card's insane. 3 Machina Deerframe. This is the best normal summon in your deck. Machina Deerframe's effect is that you can add 1 Machina to hand, which doesn't seem that amazing until we received a Machina Unclass Bear. Unclass Bear's effect is that when this card is added to hand, you can special summon it and then send 1 Machina monster from your deck to the graveyard. Why this is so good is that it puts Citadel in graveyard immediately, so you can start your game basically with Machina with a rank 4 machine. Generally, Deer Jade X because it gives you follow up in forms of Recycler in Machina Deerframe. And then it allows you to go into Joe's or Vespinel. So even if your back rows are removed, you still have monsters floating. You still have the option for Citadel to be coming out. Vespinel can chain block Citadel, so you can guarantee more threats to the board, or you can go for an unclass spare, add back to send Runeforce if you follow up on the next turn. We have Machina Metal Cruncher. This card's really good to summon off of Overdrive. Not so much to draw normally, but under Still Drain, it's 2800 beater. You normal summon, which is insane. But yeah, Metal Cruncher's effect is that you can reveal 3 Earth Machines from your deck and then add 1 to your hand. Cruncher is probably the worst of the normal summons. Unclass Spare, Recycler are Unclass Spare is probably the worst. Cruncher is the second worst. Recycler and Deerframe are both still pretty good, but Cruncher at least gets your engine to continue rolling after the normal summon, whereas Recycler, if it dies, it's just summoning Citadel out. But if you have the Overdrive, it's still like insanely good. So a lot of it's just hand dependent. I think in the end I'll go to Cruncher to 2. I think that's where it shines at, where it's going to be best, because I don't want to open it so much, but you need it in deck for Overdrive. It's also really good for Runeforce and for Fortress. From there, we already went over Unclass Bear. Recycler. Recycler is insane in the set because of Urgent Schedule specifically. Also, Urgent Schedule Wyvern. So the combo you do is you go Urgent Schedule, make Strap Recycler and Machina Citadel. You do, and then you link into Strap Wyvern, Wyvern effect to summon back Machina. Oh my god, I'm so to summon back Strap Recycler. You pop the Strap Recycler with Wyvern's effect. Wyvern's second effect triggers, special summoning 1 Strap Recycler from the deck, and then popping 1 card your opponent controls. And Machina Citadel also triggers, allowing you to chain block that Wyvern effect. I mean, you get to clear 1 card on their board, and you also get to have Citadel come back and threaten the board immediately. And you have the option to link 3. Unicorn's usually my go-to. I do think I should have played the Gaia Lightning Shadow. I believe it is. It's the linked 3 Earth Machine. It's just a 2600 beater blank, but it is because it's a machine and it's an earth machine at that. It lets you do Citadel recovery and fun stuff like that. Whereas just leaving Recycler on board is sometimes bad. Machina Runeforce. Machina Runeforce's effect is that it can be special summon. It's not effect. It's an inherent summon. You summon it by banishing level 12 or higher worth of machines from your graveyard while this card's in your graveyard. While it's on the field, it's a 4600 beater. First off, that's insane. This card is so big. While it's on the field, during the battle phase, you can half your life points, negate your opponent's card, and then half their life points. And then if this card is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon up to level 12 worth of Machinas from your banish pile at 3 at most. So generally, you're going to be bringing back Cruncher, Citadel, Fortress, or multiple Deerframes and / Unclass Bear if you have to. But yeah, it's super crazy. This card floats. It's a game ender by itself. It negates in the battle phase, so it's definitely going to kill them. And it has a lot of shenanigans with Citadel popping it to bring out Cruncher to help you crack boards or go for game. It's just so strong. 1 Machina Fortress. This is basically just here to special summon, get Runeforce in Citadel your hand and help you extend past stuff and get things just get things out of your graveyard. It also chain blocks with Citadel, so you can get the pop guaranteed or you can get Citadel summon guaranteed. It's really good for that. Triple Pot of Extravagance. You draw a card. Prosperity, I think, is what I'll end up playing over this. I think Extravagance is really good, but there's a lot of situations where Extravagance will either draw me into cards that I already had, or cards that were just dead because I didn't have anything to go with them. And I think choosing is going to be a lot better overall than just drawing two. So I think I'm going to move over to Prosperity from here. Also, the randomness of the extra kind of sucks, so I can't play all the things I want to. Triple Urgent Schedule, I mean, this card's broken. We've already gone through it. But going first, it can get you to like Recycler plus Fortress for protection on board, or like Deer Frame plus Fortress for protection. Also put Citadel on board, obviously. The card is really good first or second because it can set up Overdrive, it can trigger torrential setups. The card's just insane, like even helps with Still Drain. One Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is really good. Ash isn't super popular right now, but Ash or Valor on Deer Frame really suck. Same with Bell. It's also just good against a lot of matchups right now. Being able to banish the Nerval so they don't get to trigger it is huge. Or same with Fractal. Going into PK, that banishing the Destroy Phoenix Force is also really good. There's just a lot of applications for this card. I think, no doubt, it's just you play it because it's insane. One Machina redeployment. You play this because it's searchable off of Lord, essentially. The problem I have with this is like searching your actual Machina engine when you're going first isn't very good. You would much rather have Lord to protect your back row than have more Machina monsters, because a lot of Machina monsters are just underwhelming or they're just neg to summon, whereas I would rather have interactions or ways to protect my interactions or have follow-up because my engines basically started off of Summon Deer Frame. So I think deployment definitely is correct at 1 because you want to set it for the follow-up in case you get stopped along the way with Lord. And there's a lot of situations where setting this off Lord is insane. It also turns Lord into your engine starting, which is really good too. So I definitely think Lord set deployment makes deployment basically a 1-up because it is essentially searchable now. For traps, triple Imperm, hand traps really nice. Triple Overdrive, this is the best card in the deck. Summons, gives you follow-up, gives you recovery, helps you push for game, helps you play defensively, like by summoning like Fortress in defense position. This card's insane, and it lets you dodge targeted removal, which is really good. This is the reason this deck playable. Yes, that's insane. Triple Strike's really good. Triple Torrential, board wipes are insane right now, and helps you trigger your engine, all that fun stuff. Trap Trick to get to your broken cards like Overdrive, Imperm, Torrential, and Ice Dragons. Ice Dragon's Prison is really good right now. I don't play more than 2 because I think drawing multiples this card is ass. It's so bad at drawing multiples because like it's inherently just a blank card now. You can set it, but then you're more prone to board removal. Definitely a 2-of, always a 2-of in like almost anything if you play Trap Trick. It's searchable and it's good in the meta currently. 1 Steel Drain, 1 Imperial Order. This card's a win con. Flip this card on like almost any matchup and you basically have to KO them. Every time I flip this card I won. This card's insane. Imperial Order, pretty much the same thing. It's worse going second. This card's insane going second. This card's mediocre going second. But this card going first is insane. Also being the fact that it stops like the scary cards in the format, like Activate Fusion Destiny, is really good. Triple Lancia, double Nibiru, 1 Paint, double Alpha, double Dark Ruler. Heavy Stormduster, this is probably the most questionable card. This is mainly because I was worried about Teetowood coming up. And it wasn't super common. I didn't get Teetowood once, but I know a lot of the Invoked players were on it. I think Dino Mistis in the end is going to be the better out, and just main decking it is probably more correct. I don't think it's insane, but there's a lot of situations where like I got stuck with Citadels in my hand, and having a way to remove them at all from there would have been nice. And they essentially will serve the same purpose, and then you can just cut these in favor of more cards like Alpha, Dark Ruler, or Nibiru that just help you go second better. And Triple Judgment, this isn't even questionable. You need to play this because Evenly is insane. The rest of it, I think like the ratios are pretty good. I think Alpha overperformed. This card's insane right now. Versus the Bird deck, their main way to stop like you from playing the game is pretty much just removable completely by Alpha. You can go Alpha, swing over the bird. Actually, I can't think of the name. Swing over the rank 1 bird, or you can swing over the Apex, and you just declare Alpha effect, and you now have forced out the future because you can just remove the future otherwise. And it can give them the Alpha, which does suck. But it's not that big of a deal, especially if you can just follow up from there, so it's really strong. Painter Tops is pretty much in the same boat. Painter Tops is a little bit worse because they can just bounce the Painter Tops. They can't bounce this. If they bounce it, you just resummon it, so it's insane. I actually didn't play Painter Tops at locals the other day. I played 3 Alpha, and Alpha was just broken. It's like Alpha is so good against everything. And the other reason I play this is for the Sword Soul matchup too. This card's absurd in the Sword Soul matchup. This card just says, remove your... I better have Chalice or Droplets, otherwise I'm losing losing all of my interactions, essentially, which is absurd. This card's really good. Lancia, good into pretty much everything right now. It's not going to be amazing. It's not going to be bad. It's very average, but I also play it because I am concerned about Evenly Match. Evenly Match is by far the best board breaker into most matchups. So I think Lancia is definitely the choice to play. I could play evenly in this deck. I have considered it. My main kind of like concern with evenly is that it's really bad in later turns. So it's really very much an open immediately or it's bad. Lancia is good if you open it a little bit later. Nibiru is still gonna generally be okay. Um, Alpha and Dino Paint Drops are obviously okay to open. Dark Rule is a little bit bad to open, but Dark Rule is just an FTK in some situations. And then Judgment and these are gonna be cut, so it doesn't really matter that much. Are still gonna be good. But whereas like Evenly is really only good past like at turn one, unless they clear my whole board and I have nothing. But normally I'm gonna have cards set. So Evenly is questionable, but I still think it's probably fine as a choice if you want to make that decision. Double Zeus, Vespinetto didn't. Um, Iron Wolf, this card I never went into. In theory, it's really helpful for going into time. So you just hit them directly for 2200, and that's going to help a lot when pushing for time rule, when pushing against time. But I don't think it's necessary. It never came up in the LCS because the time rules are really a lot better in that. Going to turn, doing the 4 turns, or doing 3 turns instead of doing just end phase. But 2200 is still, this is still relevant in some situations just for crashing into just for getting direct damage going to Zeus. It's nice. Dreadnought, you use this to make, some people say Magnus. Maybe Magnus if you play Prosperity, but the extract's still pretty tight with Prosperity because I like running the anti Maximus cards in that. But you can go into Magnus and just lock your opponent out for a turn, which is still pretty solid. But I've been using this just to go into 4 material Zeuses or 5 material Zeuses, depending on what you want to do. Gustav, I think I would play 1 Gustav and cut 1 for Sky Palace Daneredai. Daneredai pops a card and also burns 1,000, so it's essentially doing the same thing. And Gustav helps with the lead pushes, but that's really it. Double lead, definitely put this to 1. I only play 1 in real life, but it's pretty much only there because I don't really go into it that often. It's only really there to help you push through the Adignister Link monster. That's what all I was really concerned about. I was like, I don't want to just lose to Adignisters for no reason because I'm not playing Kaijus on this side. And this card's insane versus that. Just insane versus that. 1 double-headed Anger Knuckler, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Strap Wyvern. This should be Cliff or Genius, like every time. This card sucks, and I definitely should have played the Gaia Light Shadow. But overall, the deck did really well. I faced on everything. I just unfortunately lost. I lost all of the die rolls except for 1. So I only won 1 die roll all day, meaning I went second. I was still able to break boards, and guys will kind of see that through some of the matches I did recordings for. And the deck is still really good going first or second. It was built to be like pretty solid in those situations. Traps are still fine going second as long as like you're not committing too heavily to your engine and you can play through stuff. And this engine really plays through stuff. It's an engine that can kill people. On turn 2, where most trap decks just don't have that. Or you can't go. Most trap decks can't go normal summon monster, set 4, and then just kill you the next turn. Whereas this deck can, which is what makes it so threatening. But yeah, you'll definitely need really high technical play for this deck, though. It's pretty hard. Like flipping trap. This isn't Monkey. You're not flipping floodgates like a lot of trap decks. You're making smart trades and interactions to win. So you have to play really well the whole time. But I really enjoyed the deck. I don't think I played perfectly, but I definitely played well enough to win most of my matches. So definitely give this deck a try out if you want to play something fun control that's not just monkey floodgates. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.